dust storm, man.
Nobody calls Han Solo a bitch.
Bring him on. I prefer a straight fight to all this sneaking around.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
Oh, come on, bro. It's the wars.
With the debut of the Book of Boba Fett being only a few days away, we figured it was a good time to sit down and make our final predictions that will ultimately be wrong. This is The Wars and More. I'm Joe, and of course with me is my good buddy Doug. Hey Doug, how you doing this week?
Doing pretty good, Joe. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
I gotta say, I'm not so sure it'll be wrong, but we'll see.
Well, we might be right for once.
Maybe. No guarantees, right?
I mean, we've had mixed results with this, right?
For sure.
When we make our final predictions for our speculation really might be a better word.
Right.
Our final speculation of direction.
Yes.
We've done this quite a few times now for the different projects, and we've been ballpark before.
Right.
And we've been flat out wrong.
Yes. I was going to say ballpark. If you're like, okay, if we look at it from this angle, we were kind of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the tweaking. Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah.
But one thing we've never really been is dead on.
Right.
Let's hope we're changing that.
Yeah.
They definitely have been throwing us.
That's for sure. And just for the record, I think I'm going to come out with some specifics that we'll see how well they do.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I hear some confidence over there.
Oh, I'm not so sure it's confident, but it's kind of what I'm thinking might happen.
Okay. So a couple things did happen this week, related to the Book of Boba Fett. A couple little sneak peeks.
Right.
Not a whole lot new, but one in particular from People, right? People.com.
Yep. People.com, as in the magazine. Yeah.
Yes. They still print that?
I don't know if they print it or not. This did come from the website.
But yeah, so coming from People, it's a clip, not a trailer, a clip,
An actual piece of the show.
yes, a snippet of a scene. 'Cause
Right.
It's only like 20 seconds.
It's just over 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
It felt like 20. But anyway, we're gonna play the audio from this clip, just because I found it pretty interesting. So let's take a listen to that.
Jabba had many vassals. We've got a lot of ground to cover if we are to keep his empire intact.
I can make the rounds without you. Jabba rarely left his chambers.
Jabba ruled with fear. I intend to rule with respect.
If I may,
Speak freely.
in difficult times, fear is a sure bet.
All right, so there's all the audio from the teaser trailers.
Right. Except for, oh, and by the way, I am Boba Fett.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's good. It's true. He didn't have to let Fennec know that he was Boba Fett.
Exactly. I thought you'd be pleased with that one.
Yeah, finally. Assumed we knew what we were looking at.
Right. So it's it's kind of cool. They show us, yes, all this stuff that we've been dubbing this audio over other scenes and showing you that for trailers. Here it is all put together. You know. So,
and it's like ultimately what is probably going to be considered a relatively insignificant scene
It might be. It might be. What's
This is definitely out of the first episode.
maybe. I think it might be the second episode. But we'll get to that later.
Okay. All right. I mean, that would be new. If this is the second episode, that's different.
Right. But it's yeah. We'll get to that later because I think this is all going to blend in together, kind of, because it's this is going to be a very Boba Fett centric episode for us, as you alluded to.
I mean, it's all anyone's talking about right now.
That's true for good reason. But I think there might be a different setup episode prior to this. So
Okay. All right. One of the other little previews we were hit with is this Return of a Legend little featurette, right?
Yep.
It's really just a little short collection of clips from the
crew.
Boba Fett deal on Disney Plus Day.
Right.
I believe it's all from that, honestly.
It may be, yeah.
But I believe you had a particular piece of it you wanted to play.
Yes. So this is going. Are we done with this other clip? Because I mean,
yeah,
there's not a whole lot there, I know, but clearly this is I think they just went to check in on one of Jabba's old territories, I guess you could say, and they're discussing how things are going to be happening moving forward, and it's just kind of taking over the whole syndicate, and he's gonna I don't know, just he's trying to explain how he's going to do things a little different, but Fennec's kind of pushing back a little bit on that. It's kind of interesting how the two of them have different points of view on how to operate. So I don't know.
All right, yeah, I didn't want to go. Like, I was kind of getting the impression that you really didn't want to go anywhere with that. Like, because
no, that's fine.
Okay, yeah.
But
didn't want to step on your speculation later on.
No, I think this other clip is going to actually launch us right into that. I think so.
I mean, I think that's the meat and potatoes of why we're here, right?
I agree. All right, we can head that way. So yes, this clip is from what you said, the stuff on the Disney Plus Day and all that, and there was just a little snippet here from Tamara Morrison and Jon Favreau that just kind of clicked with me, along with some of the stuff we've seen in some of these trailers, and gave me an idea of what we might see right away.
With the Book of Boba Fett, we're going to find out where he's been and about how he's changing.
What happened in those years between then and the end of Return of the Jedi? And then also seeing what would Boba Fett be like now.
So, both of these guys are alluding to, we're going to get the story, right? We're going to get the story of how the heck Boba escaped the Sarlacc, right? That's been a point of discussion with Star Wars fans for decades now.
Yeah.
So, we're going to get it, but I think we're going to get it like the full story. Like, I have a feeling this show might start off with, the wreckage around the Sarlacc pit, and or even the end of the battle. Like, we might actually see some Return of the Jedi footage.
Really?
I think maybe, yeah.
because my mind went a complete different direction than that. Because I honestly believe we're going to get broken up.
Do you?
Story. I think along the way we're going to get bits and pieces of that.
I'm thinking, this is why I said that other clip might be from episode 2, because I think this first episode is going to be all about this. Because we did see these clips of, and we talked about this a little bit before, but the clips of like sand people approaching through a haze.
Yep.
You know, figure that's a first person point of view of Boba Fett looking at them as they approach. This would be probably after he got out of the Sarlacc and passes out. The Jawas come along, strip him of his armor, and the Tuskens take him in, which is where he gets all of his accoutrements from, what we saw in Mandalorian.
Okay.
We also saw him inside some building with just the gray jumpsuit, flight suit, underneath the Mandalorian armor, right? That he always wore. And that is clearly like the same suit that he had like during Return of the Jedi. So
okay,
I'm thinking somehow, some way, we're going to get all of this backstory right away. I think all of the other stuff that they're showing us, all this building the empire, maintaining Jabba's empire and all of that stuff, I think that all is going to come a little bit later.
Interesting.
Yes. Now there have been some other rumors too, right? And take this with a big old grain of salt, right? A rock. There's a lot of buzz that there's a possibility that Han Solo could be in this, right? In some form or fashion. I know. I knew you were going to love this one. There's talk of the de-aging technology being used on Harrison Ford, and Han Solo actually being in this, and who knows what happens, right? Jabba's gone, so no more bounty on Han, so let's let bygones be bygones. Maybe they team up for something or another. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually something they would even approach, because that's kind of like, come on.
Well, here's the thing. If you want to blow a TV show budget for Star Wars,
yeah, I know. Harrison Ford.
That's hiring Harrison Ford for 10 minutes. All right, like.
Yes. Here's a lot of the reason why this speculation about Harrison Ford is making the rounds, is because there, we know for sure that technology is being used on him for Indiana Jones, and I think there's been some photos of him with all the little dots on the face and everything. And, Star Wars fans are Star Wars fans. As soon as they see that, it's like, oh, that's it. It's going to be Han,
Yep. The only time they use the dots is for Star Wars.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I think that's probably unlikely. The only thing that would lead me to believe that, this is that this could at all be possible is it's Hollywood, and Hollywood thinks like this. Hey, we did that with Mark Hamill and it was a great hit. Hey, let's do it with Harrison. All right, cool. Costs how much? Don't care. Let's just do it. Kind of thing. But who knows? I really don't think that's going to happen.
There's definitely a price difference there.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. But, the thing with Mark Hamill was very successful. Everyone loved that. I would say that was something that the Return of Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian was something that touched all fans, you know?
Right. Well, I mean, I will say one of the things in the past that I got dead wrong was when I balked at Harrison Ford returning for The Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
I was like, no way, that dude's done. He said,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, like, and then I'm watching the movie and I'm like, shit, there's Harrison Ford.
Yep. And, you know, it could happen here. You know, it'll be what? 3 days? All right. 3 days, you know, and add another 0, you know, that kind of thing.
Right.
and who knows? I mean, it would be one of those things that I guess what I'm saying when I say is Hollywood, you know, Hollywood is kind of like that narrow-minded, you know what I'm saying? It worked with Luke. It'll work with Han. I also think that there's been a little too much made of this whole adversarial relationship between Han Solo and Boba Fett, right? Boba Fett was just out to make a buck. I mean, you know, would he be pissed that it was Han Solo that put him in the Sarlacc? Yeah, probably, maybe. Would he really even know? Han hit him in the back in the jetpack. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think he knows.
Yeah, maybe. But it's like,
I don't know if he knows if it was intentional or accidental.
last thing he heard was, Boba Fett? Boba Fett where? You know, that was it. So.
And then he went out like a punk.
Exactly. But I could see, that's what I'm imagining is like abbreviated clips of that battle going on, the Battle of Carkoon, and those scenes being replayed for us, you know, all those final shots of that scene, you know, all of our heroes taking off on the skiff, you know, Lando driving, big old smile on his face. And then it kind of just pans down to the Sarlacc. And
you really think they'd reuse those scenes?
Yeah, I think they might.
That
would be a way of getting those characters into the show without, you know, clearly without having those actors. I mean, you know, they own all that IP. And it gives you a direct, because, you know, forgive me for saying so, but I don't buy that Boba Fett was living down inside the Sarlacc for a year. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it had to be pretty quick that he got out.
I mean, maybe.
I think so.
Because if it was pretty quick, I mean, I don't know.
So the way he gets out of the Sarlacc has got to be, you know, something like he fires his rocket or something like that, and his escape almost kills him, and he passes out on the desert. Right? Hence the clip of the Tuskens approaching, right? Plus, hence the clip of we see of him without his armor in that same jumpsuit, the flight suit, whatever. You know, all of that kind of stuff, and then it becomes a you know, I don't want to say a montage, but maybe you know, rest of the episode kind of like this is how he got to where he was when we met up with him in The Mandalorian. You know? That's what I'm thinking. What do you think we're going to see, Joe?
I think we're going to see a lot of this empire building that he's talking about, this trying to salvage Jabba's empire.
Right.
And I think we're gonna see stuff about his escape from the Sarlacc pit. You know, we're gonna see, you know, the early days after getting out of the pit. But I think we're gonna see that in little bits.
So, in little bits, but how does that play in? Because to me, Boba Fett doesn't seem like the type of guy who's going to be sitting there contemplating, oh man, I'm lucky I got out, and, you know, reflecting on or having some sort of PTSD on what happened to him, you know, and struggling with it or something, and reflecting back on what happened. I think this is going to be like an episode, or at least half of the front half of the first episode, where we basically get that whole story.
Well, I don't think it's going to be he was reflecting. If he got out relatively quickly, right?
Yeah.
Then I don't even know how they explain that away. Because how long does it take him to recover?
Well, it could have taken a while.
How many years are we talking here?
Oh, I think it's like, I don't know, 4. Like from when we saw him on Return of the Jedi to Mandalorian. Yeah, something like that. 4, maybe
It's like
5.
4 years. That's it.
It's like, yeah, something like that. 4 or 5 years. I don't know, something like that.
Man. All right.
You thought it was longer?
Yeah. I was thinking it was a little longer. Boba Fett looks a lot older than I'd imagined.
Well, you know, we don't know what he looked like under the helmet, you know?
Oh, I know.
I guess that was the whole idea too, right?
Well, I think the whole idea was to keep the helmet on. But yeah, I don't know that he would have got out that quick. If he'd have got out that quick, I can't imagine it takes him that long to recover.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm like, yeah, where's he been for 4 years?
Well, I mean, we might get I'm thinking we're going to get part of that too, because everyone's going to have that same question, you know, like, if you got out that quick, how come, he wasn't like, right back out and trying to take revenge on Han Solo, right? Or something. So I got a feeling he had a lot of recovering to do after he got out, and then, had to start from square one with, okay, now got to find my armor. Once he tracked that down, that's when he ran into Mando, Oh, he also had to go get his ship, all that stuff.
Right.
Which I think we kind of got a look at in some of these trailers. So is him going to retrieve the Slave One from a hangar at Jabba's.
Oh, is that what he was doing?
I think so.
All right. Yeah, I don't know, man. I honestly have a hard time thinking that they're going to tell this story with any divinity. Like,
okay.
Just because this is going to sound terrible to say it this way. Because they don't seem to know what they're doing in the cinematic universe.
Okay.
So I think they'll leave it open to do a Boba Fett movie.
Do you really?
Yep.
I don't think they'll go there.
Yep. I honestly think this is going to be... God, this sounds terrible.
It's all right.
This is going to be a season-long trailer.
Oh, God. I don't think it's going to be that bad now.
And I think that's why they did the title The Book of, right? Like, because I don't think it's going to do a very good job of telling either of the stories. Boba Fett currently, Boba Fett's past, Boba Fett in the middle of this time and Return of the Jedi.
So, with the people that they have running this, you think it's going to be not such a great thing?
I don't know. Like, that's what I'm saying. I just, the amount of stuff that they want to tell. Boba Fett now. Boba Fett in between. You know, a little bit of Boba Fett's, you know, backstory.
Okay.
Like, it just seems like too much. It lacks focus.
I don't know. I think once we get the backstory out of the way, we're going to basically see a lot more of the criminal mobster type Boba Fett. You know what I mean? And I think the focus will be on that from there on out. That's what I think.
Yeah, like he don't need any rest because he spent 3 years swimming in Bacta.
Hey, you know, I don't know. He's ambitious. We'll say that.
Well, I mean, that's apparent.
Yeah.
Gonna take over Jabba's empire.
Right. Which, you know, clearly, you know, Jabba's empire has been, you know, I'm going to take a stab at this and say Bib Fortuna's kind of been just resting on the laurels of everything that Jabba had built, and it's kind of running the whole operation into the ground a little bit. That's my guess.
I mean, he definitely let himself go.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, you know, that might be the first indication, you know, is that he's just kind of just living it up while the operation's kind of, you know, and the other thing is when, you know, we've seen these clips in the trailers of these, heads of these vassals or whatever are saying, well, hey, why don't, what's to stop us from just killing you and taking what we want, kind of thing, you know? They're feeling emboldened because they've been under Bib Fortuna's rule, and they're pretty much allowed to do whatever the heck they want, you know? That clearly wasn't the case with Jabba, and, you know, don't think it'll be the case with Boba Fett either.
All right. I guess that's true. Like,
I mean, it's all a guess at this point, but I mean,
right.
It kind of falls in line and makes sense, you know. It's, I don't know. It's at least, you know, it's probably not going to be so straightforward, right? Because, you know, you want it to be good storytelling, but it's kind of where they're leading us with these trailers and these teasers. So,
oh, I mean, I'm glad you got an idea of where they're going with this.
at least I think I do. Hey, I could be wrong. You know, we've talked about that at the beginning of the show. Where I'm sticking my neck out on this prediction is, I think they're going to use Return of the Jedi footage to start us off. They're going to put us right back in that battle to show us how Boba got out, and you know, that's what I'm thinking. It seems like an opportunity to me that they can't pass up. That's just, If it were me, that's what I would do.
Okay. So then I gotta ask this question.
Yeah.
Are we looking at a one-off season?
Like, I think that is going to depend on the popularity of the show, which already I think is going to be, I don't want to say off the charts, but it's going to be up there. It's going to be pretty popular, I think.
I think it's the easiest one they've undertaken.
Right. So that being said, I think there's got to be a lot of heavy duty setup to make Boba Fett's story moving forward compelling. Because it's all the stuff that I've been talking about that is going to draw everybody in my opinion. So learning everything that's happened between Return of the Jedi and when we see him in Mando, that's what's going to bring everybody to this show. And where it goes from here, that's where
I am Boba Fett.
Yeah. That's where they are going to have to, really step it up.
Do they though?
Yeah, I think so. Because if the story's no good, after that, if this crime lord story doesn't really go anywhere and gets boring or anything like that, then people will check out. Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, ultimately, I mean, that I do feel like the whole crime lord thing's been worn out a little bit, but I mean, he's basically becoming Darth Maul. Yeah, I don't know. I'm honest. I don't know what I expect out of this character, just because. I mean, here we are. We're talking about this character.
Yeah.
Like what was it, like 6 minutes of screen time? Like,
yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Think about it.
So I mean, we're talking about this character like there's this like legacy that has to be lived up to, and I'm like, what?
Right.
So yeah. It's a mind-boggling thing to me.
I get that.
Like, how do you screw up a character that has no story?
Well, I mean, that's where I'm talking about everyone wants that story. Everyone wants the story of what happened to Boba. He's back, clearly, in The Mandalorian, right?
Right.
Everyone wants to know how, because the last time we saw him, he's dead, right?
Right.
So that's the story everybody wants. That's why they're coming back, in my opinion. And they're saying that we're going to get it. What's happened in the meantime kind of thing. That's why we played that clip. Now, that's what's drawing everybody in. The crime boss story of they're going to give us moving forward. That's what needs to keep everybody here. And that's where I think it would depend on how that story goes to see if there's going to be like a second season or something like that. Darn well, if it goes well, they are going to want more.
Right.
And if it doesn't, then we just won't see any more Boba Fett.
Right.
That's
I do know. I think I'm probably going to spend next Thursday on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, just looking for anybody who says that's not Boba Fett. And I'm going to ask them how the hell they know.
Gotcha.
Like, what is your basis for this argument, sir?
I was thinking to myself, he's like, I'm going to spend next Thursday on Twitter. I'm like, man, why do you hate yourself?
No, I
get it though.
I don't understand that. I know. I apparently hate the character.
Well, I mean, you have, what would you call it? Reasonable, aversion to the popularity of the character, right? I mean, that's, and I get it. I understand why, because, like you said, 6 minutes of screen time, 4 lines of dialogue, something like that. So
yeah, it's like I gotta say, like in the past couple years in particular, this like legend of Boba Fett that like has started, and this like discussion of Boba Fett being like the most badass Star Wars character, and I'm just like, what? Like he looked cool.
Yep.
Like that's the whole basis for my Boba Fett fandom over the years was it looked awesome.
Yeah, of course.
That's it.
So here's where I think all of this started from, right? This is the character that whenever asked, I think George basically said, "Nope, Boba Fett's dead. That's it."
Yeah.
So when the sale to Disney happened, it was like a renewed, fervor for, okay, now we can get the story. George isn't like gonna stop it from happening now. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, now I'm gonna sound bitter.
Ooh.
Well, I think what Disney did when they bought Star Wars, like, okay, what was George
Yeah.
thinking this character was gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do the opposite.
Exactly.
Boba Fett dead? No, he's not.
Right.
Luke Skywalker training Jedi? No, he's not.
Right.
Uh,
No, in a lot of ways, you're absolutely right about that, because, that's what they did. I mean, clearly.
Han Solo, kill him.
Right. Which I think, a lot of us would say, that's, we kind of knew that was going to happen with Han anyway.
Well, that's what Harrison wanted.
Yes. And that's part of the reason why we knew it. So.
Right. But Harrison wanted it back then.
Yeah, true. Yeah, those stories were rolling around for decades, yes.
It's obvious he doesn't feel that way anymore because after they killed him, he came back.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's one of those things, because I'm sure there's going to be people who interview him and ask him, "So, why'd you come back?" For the money. It's like, okay.
I had to fix my plane.
Yeah, exactly. That's rotten, Joe. I mean, it's not wrong, but
Hey, Han Solo, Harrison Ford, they both wrecked their ships.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do find it interesting that we are on two different mindsets here on where we think this is headed.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to look back and see, just how it does play out. Because,
well, the good thing about this, though, the good thing about us being really completely different is that one of us may be close to right.
Yeah, possibly. A lot of times our opinions do kind of line up, and it's like, oh man,
But yeah, I don't feel like I shouldn't say I don't feel like. I do feel like that they're using this as a launch pad to see what this character could do. And I don't think they'll tell too much of either story.
Okay.
I believe that with the people that they have involved, they're going to make it very entertaining.
So you think they're going to drag out this whole what happened in the meantime story longer than what it already has been? Like,
Yep.
Oh God, I think that would just drive people crazy.
Why?
What do you mean why?
What basis? I mean, it would drive them nuts. I mean, the character had 6 minutes of screen time, dude.
Yes, but like, not everybody feels the same way as you. You know, for whatever reason, and let's be honest, they have their reasons. You know, people love this character.
I don't think it's going to be unfulfilling. You know what I mean? Like, as far as like, I believe they're going to do it in a way that is going to be satisfying for people, but yet open-ended.
I do think it's going to be open-ended. You know, we're going to get 7 episodes, right? I do believe at the end of these 7 episodes, you know, we're going to be left with a story that
you think we'll be up to date. After 7 episodes, we'll be up to date.
Well,
on what happened to Boba Fett in between this time period.
Yes. But we're gonna be left with a story that could be play out further. You know what I'm saying? You know, this whole crime syndicate thing.
Maybe. I just, like I said, with what we've seen in the trailers, the way the precursor stuff has been very, very short snippets. Like,
yes, and I think that's intentional.
I feel like that is foreshadowing.
You think that's because there's just not that much of it?
Correct.
Yeah, I think they're playing a little sleight of hand here.
And then I think that the reason it's called the Book of Boba Fett is it's going to be anecdotal stories along the way that are going to shed light but not conclude.
And I do believe we're going to have the whole backstory of what's happened in the meantime. I do. Partially because I think this is a story that Jon Favreau wanted to tell, right? Like, this is a story he grew up wondering about and wants to tell it himself now because, you know, he can.
All right. I'll make one more argument to why I think that would be a decision or a route they may go.
Which route is this?
The not telling the whole story.
Okay.
The success of Boba Fett during the original trilogy era, right? With no backstory whatsoever.
Right. And
I wouldn't say widespread backlash, but the little bit of backlash there was to, I guess it really was kind of widespread backlash to Boba Fett being a clone.
Backlash?
Yeah, there were people that found that to be unsavory.
Huh.
They didn't like that.
I don't recall hearing about this, but okay.
Look, it's out there. So just the success of the mystery of the character, right?
Right.
I think they're going to want to reestablish mystery with Boba Fett.
See, I think that part of it's done. Personally.
Well, it's done for now. I'll agree with that. I don't agree that it's done for good.
Right.
I think they want to rekindle that magic.
Well, for me, I think that would be a mistake.
But then again, that's what I thought they were going to do with the Mandalorian, and then they started taking his helmet off every 15 minutes.
See?
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see. It's going to be interesting. Next week is going to be interesting on our show here to see just which way things went.
Yeah, I mean, next week we're going to know right away where you're at.
Right?
So next week I'm either going to be like, all right, Doug, I think you're right. I think you're right. Or I'm going to be sitting here going, ha!
Yeah. Yes. And
Told you they weren't going to tell you shit.
Yes. Next week will be one of those, one way or the other. We're gonna have one of us is gonna be giving the other crap about it. That's for sure.
Next week it's going to open up with a shot of the Sarlacc pit. It's going to go black. You're going to hear some laser blasts, and then he's going to be walking in the sand.
That's possible, but man, I hope not.
Write it down.
Yeah, we'll see.
Sci-fi 101 right there, buddy.
Oh, come on now. Star Wars is not just any old sci-fi.
I know. I wouldn't even call it sci-fi.
Right.
It's the category is getting assigned these days.
Yes.
Well, all right. We'll see where we're at, right? Next week.
Absolutely.
Not even really like that. It's a few days away.
Right.
So we'll be finding out. So we ain't gonna have to wait long. I'm glad we put this off.
Yes. Yes, I like it.
Go all in. So we're only wrong for a few days.
Exactly. Yeah, we don't have to suffer in our ignorance.
Yeah, we didn't build on this for weeks and weeks and really look like jackasses. So, well, all right. If you have anything to add before we get there, you wanna join in on the Getting It Wrong Club? You can always email us, show@thewarsandmore.com. This is the best way to get a hold of us. We're also on social media, at The Wars and More on Twitter, facebook.com/thewarsandmore. You can find all that and all the ways to find the show over at thewarsandmore.com. Any final thoughts this week, Doug?
No, I think that about covers it.
All right. We will talk next week.